To commemorate President Gerald R. Ford's 109th birthday, a wreath-laying ceremony will take place at President Ford's tomb on the grounds of the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum here in Grand Rapids. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster here from the Wood TV live desk. Joining me this afternoon is Donna Calvaruso. She's the President Gerald R. Ford Historical Legacy Trust. For more on that ceremony, Donna, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Luke. It's an honor to be with you today.
So the annual ceremony here is set for 9 a.m. this Thursday. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the wreath-laying is a traditional ceremony that has been done since President Ford passed. The first one was in 2006. It was Mrs. Ford's wishes to put this ceremony together, and my husband and I have been involved with the ceremony for the last 15 years, and it honors both the president and Mrs. Ford on his birthday.
Tell me about the creation of it. You just mentioned there started in 2006. Who was conducting it? A little more on the nuts and bolts.
The ceremony was Mrs. Ford put together a letter saying what she wanted, and her daughter Susan basically took on putting together the ceremony and worked with volunteers and the foundation and the museum, all worked together to do the ceremony. And I remember one of the early ceremonies, it was just like thunderstorming and it was crazy. So my husband was a banker then, and we raced and we got all like dozens of umbrellas, and we still went and did the ceremony. But there was not a huge group of people, but we conducted the ceremony in the thunderstorm. Every year the weather's always been different. It's been very hot. I think this year will be very nice. So it can change from year to year.
Who can we expect in attendance this year?
The attendance is in attendance is family. The Susan Ford and her brother Steve will be there. There'll be cousins or nieces and nephews of the president and Mrs. Ford. We have the general from the National Guard presenting President Biden's wreath. We have other people from the community. So it should be a very nice ceremony.
You mentioned other community members there. Why is it important to hold something like this for the Grand Rapids community and just for West Michigan?
I think it helps them. Well, we're a very privileged community to have a president from our community. And so President and Mrs. Ford are near and dear to everybody's heart. And I think this gives the community an opportunity to honor their legacy. And there's so many, because my husband and I worked for the foundation for 12 years, and the president and Mrs. Ford's legacies were so important to the community. And so many people in the community have fond memories of, not just interacting with the president and Mrs. Ford, but even the children that came to the museum as when they were young, and we've heard so many stories. So this ceremony is important to the Grand Rapids community because I think it really helps with them to connect with the Ford legacy and the president, because it really is a privilege to have a president be from your community.
Is this an open event? Can community members come out and show their support and attend?
Well, there's a couple different ways. The event has been by invitation. There are areas where community members can come and view the event, and it will also be live streamed on the foundation webpage. So it's GeraldRFordFoundation.org, and they'll be streaming it live. So yeah, so it is an invitation event, but like I said, there are areas where if someone wants to come down and view the ceremony, where they can view it from. And then in the live stream.
Gotcha. Being an annual event, is there anything new this year that's worth noting?
Well, the last 2 years were very, very private ceremonies. During the pandemic, we still conducted the ceremonies. So this year, we are back to, we're not back to 100% because we're still being a little bit careful about the COVID. But we are bringing the ceremony back into a more full ceremony. This year, we are going to honor healthcare workers, and then also the Albion College, Ford Institute, and the University of Michigan. A Ford school will have wreaths that represent them too. So those are a couple of new things that we're doing this year. Every year when we do the ceremony, there's always a wreath that represents some group or individual that was important to the Fords, and those are in addition to the family wreath and the president's wreath, those are the two other wreaths that we're doing.
Again, one more time with the time, location, and then again where those interested might be able to view it on that live stream.
Yeah, the time is 9 a.m., July 14th, at the Gerald R. Ford Museum in the tomb area at the back of the museum. There's like a grassy area that general public can view from. And then if they want to watch the live stream, it's GeraldRFordFoundation.org.
Donna, is there anything else that you'd like to put out there or add?
Yeah, in honor of the president's 109th birthday, the museum is offering free admission to the first 109 people who go to the museum, and the museum opens at 10 a.m. So that's something, if people want to come down and catch a glimpse of the ceremony, and then go to the museum, that would be a great morning for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you tuned in maybe halfway through this stream or just now clicking in, there's a link attached if you're viewing on Facebook. Takes you over to woodtv.com. You can view our full conversation right there. Donna, thank you.
You're welcome.
Folks, this has been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm News 8 Digital anchor Luke Laster. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you around.